Hey everybody, welcome back to the Old Swedes Farm. I wanted to do a video to answer the question I've been asked a bunch, and that is, what's the origin of the Old Swedes Farm? As I've watched other channels, I've seen other people talk about their farm, whether it's a humorous name or a serious name. It's been fun to kind of see the origin. So I wanted to share that with you. The short of it, it's named after my dad. So now you've heard it, now you can click off. No. My dad, born in the 1920s, rural Minnesota, kind of central Minnesota, about 60 or 70 miles from the Minneapolis-St. Paul. Loved gardening. He's out in farm country, but they lived in town, maybe a small town of 200 people, I think. He loved gardening, did garden quite a bit, and I'm not sure when, but at some point, he was approached by a gentleman who had come out from the Twin Cities, who was from the University of Minnesota, their St. Paul campus. And he asked my father if he would come and tend to the orchards at the University of Minnesota campus in St. Paul. And Dad said yes. So I'm not sure when that was, but as a 16-year-old high schooler, my dad moved 70 miles from home to the University of Minnesota. During the day, he'd go to high school. After school, he'd tend to the orchards at the U of M. Unreal responsibility for a young guy. And then he'd do his homework at night. So Dad really, got some great experience. Eventually got a degree in horticulture. A few years later, World War II breaks out. My dad enlists in the Navy and was out in the theater in the Pacific Theater for World War II. He spent about 25 years in the Navy and then moved into hospital administration. Well, my first recollection of gardening, I'm a young kid, and I have seen some pictures. I must be 2 years old, and I'm helping with the vegetable garden, planting beans and simple things for a young kid. But I remember in Minneapolis, there's vegetable gardens. There's a lot of flower gardens around. My dad kept the yard maintained just beautifully. When we moved out to the suburbs, much bigger gardens. I helped out a bunch more, turning over the soil by hand, I remember. But we had a huge raspberry patch. We had asparagus, some things that weren't normal vegetable garden stuff. But Dad always, other than the vegetables, a huge rose garden, incredible flowers. He won awards for flower arranging. He just had a knack for it. Dad seemed to always have an answer for stuff. When I've had a couple of homes in the suburbs, and Dad would always help with the gardens, and give ideas. And in fact, I found a framed picture that I had. I think my son shot that. We got a pond in the background there, and to keep the chemicals out of the pond, if you're fertilizing your lawn, I built a buffer, about a 20 or 30 foot buffer of native grasses and native plants, and there's kind of this prairie in the way to filter out the chemicals before they could flow into the water. And this picture is just perfect. I'm sure there was some question I had, and Dad is sitting there answering, yep, this is what this is and that is. And like I said, he always seemed to have the answer and just knew it off the top of his head. Unbelievable knowledge base. So when we bought the farm, I want to have a big garden out here, and raise a lot of stuff. The thought of an orchard had come, Holly wanted that, all sorts of stuff. And about a month before we were going to move in, Dad passed away. But the night before, we're having dinner, and he knows he's dying, so he is passing on knowledge. Hey, you're up on the hill, and it looks this way. Here's the spot for an orchard. Make sure you get a wind block. Make sure you get your soil tested. If it's clay-like, here's how you're the best way to amend it quickly. Here's what you do here and here. He was just doing a knowledge dump. So he never got out to the farm. Sorry. Anyways, so he never got out to the farm. Over the years, Dad's full Swede, 100% Swedish. My mom is half German, half Irish, but she'd always call him the old Swede. Oh, you're stubborn old Swede. And so when we moved out here, we just thought it's fitting. We're rural, we're doing a big garden, kind of a tribute to Dad and his knowledge, the old Swedes farm. So, and with him passing, you know, I'm half Swedish, so I'm the old Swede now. So, anyways, that's the origin of the farm and the name. One funny story, there's a picture we've got on the wall. It says, if a cardinal should appear, a loved one is visiting to bring you cheer. The first time we're planting, my daughter and I are out there, Holly's helping. We're planting and trying to work the soil for the first time. That hasn't been worked in quite a while out here. But we're doing it, and a cardinal shows up and lands on the fence post right by where we're planting. I thought, darn it, Dad. Of course, my rows are not straight. Of course, Dad. You don't need to point that out. So, just humorous story. Anyways, there's the origin of the old Swedes farm and why we call it that. The little nod to Dad. I'd like to hear your stories. What, if you've got a farm, a homestead, a hobby farm, whatever, why'd you name it what you named? I'd love to hear those stories. Put it down below. But it'd be a great, if you've got a channel, I'd love to hear what the origin there. But if you don't have a channel, put it down below. I'd love to hear the reason why you call your place what you call it. If you like the video, please give me the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate everybody that's viewing and hearing the reason why we call the farm what we do. Take care, everybody.